All right, guys, happy Monday. It has been an extremely long weekend of work, of me basically trying to become fluent in French, refreshing myself on these old AP French courses that I used to take in high school. Obviously, I'm going to provide you guys with an update on my little dust up with Mr. and Mr. Macron. All right, let's get into this. So I was speaking to my husband over the weekend, and I said to him, legitimately, that I did not believe that in the history of the world, there has ever been a circumstance where a sitting president, okay, I want you to think about this, a sitting president, a world G7 leader, do you recall ever hearing them having sent a legal threat to a podcaster, in this case, a pregnant mommy podcaster, in a country over which they do not preside? And included in that legal threat is a, shh, don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody. I really do just think it's important to pause and consider all of that having taken place. It's a sign of the times, really a sign of the Western times. It's a reason that I feel the West is falling. I mean, two grown men acting like big babies. We could never imagine in a million years Vladimir Putin doing this. Be honest, you could never imagine Vladimir Putin. If I said he's a killer, he's this, he's that, there's no way he's going to go to his advisors and be like, send her a letter, just threaten her and tell her not to tell anybody that we're threatening her in this letter. It's weird. It's what we describe on the show as fake and gay, right? There's something fundamentally weak about it. If you're going to send me a letter and you're like, I'm not this and I'm not that, well, you should realize that even by sending the letter, people recognize that you are an extremely weak and an extremely fragile leader. And I have to tell you guys, your comments on Friday's episode really made me chuckle. Top one being this one from Holly House. She wrote, French president, do not publicize this letter. Candace Owens, hold my beer. Followed by the next top comment from Alex. He writes, Macron, do not publish this. Candace, please subscribe and make sure to hit the like button. Yes, of course, I'm American. Who are you? Literally, who are you? And the third top comment is really great because it comes from somebody that lives in France, and it is from a user, ADARYM. They write, I am French. I am so glad that someone is talking about this scam. God protect you, Candace. We need people like you in France. And that kind of was the general feeling. I had tons of people from France emailing me saying, keep going. Thank you so much. Essentially, they're being suppressed and their opinions, they're fearful to speak them given what the president has done. And so I want to take this time to let Americans who do not understand the significance of this story, I want to let you guys know why it is so important, because there have been people that have said, why does it matter if his wife is a dude? And there are people who don't fully appreciate what the French have been going through under what I would describe as this regime. It truly is a regime. You hear so much about Vladimir Putin, and we have this right here in the West. Pay attention to what's happening in the UK, what's happening in France. And imagine, if you will, a person, Emmanuel Macron, who was pretty much unknown. Yes, he was in government. I think he was an economic minister, perhaps, who starts his own party called En Marche, maybe, and he condemns the radicalism on the left and the right. This guy's going to be a centrist. He condemns radical socialism, points out the failures of his previous party, and he secures the vote of the people. And they are then presented with his wife, and they are told that this is a strong, faithful Catholic woman. And so you vote according to that. You're a Frenchman and you vote according to that. And the general assumption, of course, is that when someone is billing themselves as a centrist, they're not up to anything crazy. Hey, we're the moderates. We're the guys in the middle, right? We see problems with both sides. And look, this woman of faith. And it works. The press is behind them. That individual and his wife get into power. And then you start to see another side of them, a dark side. Journalists start recognizing some holes in their past story, realizing we don't really know who these people are. Like this, they kind of were thrust upon us. Maybe we were just believing the media, and they realize that a lot is not adding up. And one by one, these independent journalists and researchers begin to suffer. First and foremost, this is a true story. And again, all this will be in our little mini series about Brigitte. There was a woman named Isabella Ferreira, right? I'm showing you a picture of her. She used to be, what do they call them? The jaune gilets, which I think yellow vest in French. 56-year-old woman who was investigating Emmanuel and Brigitte. She was deemed to be one of the earliest to discover that the age gap between them was not being accurately reported by the mainstream media. And then she said she had landed upon something even bigger and started making phone calls to alert others that actually uh, Brigitte, as she was saying, could still be prosecuted for the crime of having slept with a minor or had a relations with somebody who was 15 years old under the new law. Okay. 2 weeks later, this Isabella Ferreira is found dead. Okay. She was drowned in a dam. The investigators admit that she was still alive when she slipped into the ocean. The media was saying, "Oh, she took some pills. She was bipolar. She was depressed. That's what happened." Even though she had been making phone calls days earlier asking for people to meet with her regarding this investigation. And in fact, one of her friends posted on Facebook. His name is Luca, and he wrote a very long post, which you can go and find. But this is the most compelling element. He did not buy the accidental suicide story. He wrote, "These days, she was focused on the sexual assault of the teacher, Brigitte Trogneau, towards the minor pupil, Emmanuel Macron. The revelation that she claimed to have and about which she had told me was that the prescription 30 years, he's referring to the statute of limitation, 30 years after the majority, meaning the age in which you can give consent for sexual assaults against minors, allowed Emmanuel Macron to file a complaint against Brigitte." So again, that's loosely translated. And he's saying that like she had discovered the statute of limitations was not up. In fact, it is true. It is not up. It will be up at the end of this year, 2025. But then she committed suicide in a very strange way. Most people don't jump and try to drown themselves. I think it's almost impossible. I think I read somewhere that it's almost impossible to drown yourself because your brain will just automatically come to the surface. I don't know. Whatever. That's what happened. That was how it was reported in the media. Then you had the journalist Natasha Ray, who had just assisted in an investigation. She wasn't even the one who had published the 6-part series, the one that I saw that was published by Xavier Poussard. Natasha Ray has cancer. She has no money. She has been fighting the Macrons for years in court and losing. And it is being claimed that it was essentially a show trial, that they have this much power that they always have, that she was declared guilty for things that she actually and factually never said, and that she is not getting fair treatment in court. A lot of the files are being locked down, so the public is not even really getting a clear view as to what is happening. And you're not going to believe this. Her lawyer, Francois Danglehant, similarly, since he went out on a limb and defended Natasha Ray, the state came down on him. Stole, according to him, took his 3-year-old son, that there is a essential mafia that has been on his back that set up a fake trial against him, trying to throw him in prison, but it didn't work. And he is still with Natasha Ray fighting this, trying to get the story out. And then, of course, the man that is at the nucleus of all of this, the one who broke the story about this transition, Xavier Poussard. Incredibly, the Macrons, as you saw, and as I shared in the letter, are still refusing to sue this journalist for defamation. The initial journalist who published this story in 6 parts. He has not been sued by the Macrons, but he too is being harassed. He too has people that work with him that are getting squeezed by the government, being told that they will face financial ruin if they continue to fund his efforts. They have even gone out and tried to figure out who is funding his work. They've attempted to bring a claim against Xavier himself, not for the pieces that he wrote about the Macron, but for an article he wrote years ago regarding who controls the French media, alleging that they can bring a claim against him for anti-Semitism. Even though he didn't say they are Jews, he just named people who control or own a large part of the media in France. And they were like, "Oh, well, these people happen to be Jewish. Can we go after him for anti-Semitism?" Now, Emmanuel and Brigitte want to see if they can extend their globalist tentacles to the United States, right? That is what they're really high on. They're high on their own globalist supply. We can show me the man. I'll show you the crime. We'll go after any person who tries to tell this story. And they are now eyeing me with an extremely carefully worded letter where they don't go so far as to deny that Brigitte is trans, where they don't go so far as to explicitly state that Brigitte Macron was born a biological woman, which would have been so easy to do over these last 8 years. But they're kind of wheeling and dealing and trying to find defamation in other ways, like accusing Macron of lying about his sexuality. It's one of the things they listed. What? Yeah, accusing him of lying about his sexuality. Did I do that? Did I say that he explicitly lied about his sexuality? What are you even talking about? Why, how are you alleging that this hurts him and his reputation in front of the French people? They hate him. Okay. Accusing Brigitte of lying to the French people about her sexuality. Again, what is this? And I will say that they definitely picked the right mom. They definitely picked the right mother. We actually are hitting send on this letter in a couple of hours. So you guys will be the first to even see an exclusive peek of it. And I'm going to upload it in its entirety to the our locals website. That is candace.locals.com. We're going to put all of this up. We want the public to see this. You know, we are no longer doing things in the dark. Okay. We are in the era of light, and everything that happens, I am going to expose to the public because I have the platform to do that. And they have a right to know. They have the right to see how you people operate and how you try to intimidate. You are not thug life to me. I get that you're running stuff in France. That's not how I feel, okay? And I don't care about what you're doing in France or care about what you're doing in Paris. I just care about people understanding the truth and understanding that there is a dark network of individuals that have been supporting your campaign. And that part is plainly obvious. That part is plainly obvious. That is not something that can be denied on the basis of the things that people have been accused of in your network, people that have funded you, Emmanuel Macron, okay? So here is a little sneak peek of our legal letter that we are sending back to him. And just reading you a couple of lines here. Again, it will be up on the website. While you cleverly try to distinguish between calling someone gay or transgendered and calling the Macrons liars and criminals who are defrauding the French people and the international community, the implication is clear. You and your clients believe that being labeled as gay or transgendered is defamatory, and they must prove as much to maintain their claims. However, they would contravene the beliefs of President Macron's most ardent progressive liberal supporters. Yet your denial that being labeled as gay or transgendered is defamatory is belied by the statements and the posts that you are citing as defamatory. Nearly all of the statements and posts simply refer to Brigitte Macron as a man who transitioned. And so we list some of these examples of these strange posts that they cited, satanic, whatever, saying that you can't call this satanic, whatever. And we basically say, so either your clients believe these examples are libelous, or you merely want Candace to remove them to protect your clients' images. None of these show that your clients were damaged. Therefore, it seems your true agenda is to intimidate a journalist and prevent her from reporting discoveries about the Macrons. But you chose the wrong journalist. Candace is not intimidated. No, I am not intimidated. In fact, I would describe myself as positively elated about this opportunity. Mr. and Mr. Macron, okay? I want you to come to Tennessee so bad. Bring this lawsuit as you would have to the great state of Tennessee. Bring it to the volunteer state, you know? We still have the good old boys here. And don't even waste your money getting a courier to file. I'll file it for you. I'll be your courier, okay? I'll run down to the courthouse and file the lawsuit for you if you promise me that you two will show up hand in hand. Okay, that you will come down to a state where we still have the good old boys, and you'll explain to them, Brigitte, that you think 15-year-olds boys can be sexy, that you're attracted to 15-year-old boys. Bring that mindset, your Parisian elitist mindset here. Explain to them how 15-year-olds can be hot and sexy and how maybe you as an older man want to marry them. I'd love to see that. I'd pay big money to see you have a rude awakening about what the rest of the world thinks about what it is that you two have been up to. It's gross. It is disgusting. There is no way to slice it when you make a confession as you have. And by the way, as I said, we have proof that he was 14 when he was in that play. Okay, the play that you watched him perform and were just thought he was so profound and beautiful, because what sane person at the age of 39 and 40, the ripe age of 39 and 40, looks at a 14-year-old boy and finds that to be appealing, and then thinks that they have enough money and connections to get the press to sell it as something sexy, as Josephine and Napoleon? Get the heck out of my face. Truly, get out of our faces. Like I said, try that around here. Try that around here. Come, get on a plane, do it, sell it. Oh, that was beautiful. Beautiful, the story of the Beauty and the Beast. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to fly here, okay? We have good values. We have good morals. We don't care about your top designers, okay? They don't care about Paris. We do have a Paris, Tennessee here, but it's not what you're used to. And I am telling you, I will give anything. I might even cover your legal expenses if you agree to show up in Tennessee with your mindset, okay, and meet me in court. And guess what? Your little line about, okay, we don't have to answer whether or not Brigitte is a woman. No, you literally will have to answer that. If you have the, excuse me, balls to file this lawsuit in the state of Tennessee, we invite it. My supporters invite it. I invite it. I love a good fight. And I am telling you, this world, this sick, grotesque world that you are a part of, where you could just pay enough money to hide this sort of pervasive illness, because that is what I view it as, okay? 40-year-olds don't look at 14, 15-year-old boys and find them cute and appealing and want to be in relationships with them. I am disgusted by your relationship. You make me sick, Brigitte. Seriously. And with all that I know now, having sat down with Xavier Poussard, I sense that a lot of people worldwide are going to be physically sickened by the fact that the entire press circle in France has been guarding a lot of secrets about you. And yes, I truly, truly now, even more so than when I first reported the story, believe that you were born a man. So we can have that conversation in court, or you can simply respond to our legal emails, but know that all of it will be published on our locals website. And that's all I'm going to say about that.